Hello, welcome to Missy's Imaginings. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great summer. Things here are just dandy. My voice is very scratchy, but I'm not ill. We've had a lot of allergens and pollen things floating in the air here lately, and so it's just a reaction to what's on the outside of my house. I had a friend who used to make me laugh because she'd get very teary-eyed and she'd say, "Don't worry, I'm not emotional, I'm just allergic." So that's kind of what I'm dealing with now. So I apologize in advance for the scratchy voice. I'll do my best. But in the meantime, we've had a lot of extra orders at work, and which is a good thing when you want to be able to stay working, but it does mean we've had lots of extra hours at work, and so my sewing projects have kind of been on the back burner, but I have one in the works that we're going to talk about today, and I also have a couple things that I have discovered. Well, one I didn't discover, but one that might be helpful for some of you. This will work if you have a metal base machine. It's just a magnetic guide, and you can get these at Joann or online, and it's just a handy tool to mark where the edge of your seam allowance needs to be, so you can just pop that right down on the bed of your sewing machine and use it as a guide. I just recently acquired one of these. And then the other thing that I wasn't aware of, that it was a thing, but someone gave this to me. It is a soapstone pencil, and it's just like a metal case, like a mechanical pencil type case, and then inside is a white material, and then I think on the end it must be a sharpener, and then so it sharpens into a point, and I have a couple of refills here, and it's called soapstone pencil, and it is wonderful for marking on dark fabrics. And I never heard of such a thing. I have a couple of different types of marking pencils. I have a white one, a blue one, and these silver ones, and sometimes they just don't make the marks the way that I would like them to. I'd still struggle to see them, but the soapstone makes a very nice white mark on dark fabric. And of course I don't have a dark piece of fabric. Oh, here's some. I don't know if this will show, but we'll maybe give it a shot here. And let's see. So we'll see if it'll work. Well, this is knit, so that's not going to work. Yes, I wasn't prepared with an example, but I just wanted to show you the tool. So anyway, I'm not sure where these would be found, as this was given to me. The brand is Dritz, so probably a search online would reveal some of these, but I thought it was a really cool tool that I'm adding to my arsenal of sewing notions and equipment. So that out of the way, we'll take a look here at the project. I'm so excited for this one, and I have so much here to show you. I'll put up a photo of what I've actually done, because this time I've actually drawn out the images of the patterns, and it is going to be for my BTS fellas, the 7 coat 7 color collection. It will consist of 7 different coat patterns. So every single coat pattern is different, and each one has been newly drafted. So some of them are similar to other patterns I've done, but they have been changed. So they're not the exact patterns found in other collections. So everything's been tweaked a little bit, so they are fresh new patterns. So it will have the 7 coats. There will be 3 kind of basic type tops. One will be a racerback tank top that you would use a knit fabric for. Then there's a loose t-shirt and a more slim fitting t-shirt. Those can be done either with a knit fabric and just have a wider opening at the neck with a snap in the back, or if you wanted to use a non-stretch fabric, you can divide the back into 2 pieces, give a little extra seam allowance because you're cutting it in half, so that you can sew the edges and finish them, and that they'll overlap, and then have it just be an open back so that you can put it on like with the doll like this, and go over the arms and then connect in the back and snap it down. Then there will be a bonus button-up shirt that is not pictured here, that is a long sleeve button-up shirt. Then there are 3 pair of pants. So one is non-pleated with, I believe, and I'm not looking at the photo right now, so I'm hoping I'm right. One pair has a yoke in the back. Then there's a single pleated pair and a double pleated pair. And then one of them has a new pocket, like front pocket style. And so I actually drew them out. So we have images here. And so these images plus the long sleeve button-up shirt will all be included in the collection. Now this first round will be for the 3rd scale tall BJDs, or ball jointed dolls. So those fellas are about, compared to the gals here, they're about this tall. They're quite a bit taller than my girls. So they are taller. They are 66 centimeter, where these average about 60 centimeters. So they're a good 6 centimeters taller, like the height of the ears maybe. And so they are slimmer, a slimmer build. So if you have dolls that are very muscular and broad through the chest and shoulders, you may need to add some width in those areas. But it will be for the larger dolls. Later, I will take this pattern and I can reduce it. When I do that, I just use a Xerox machine. I just do the math, find the percentage I want to shrink down, and do it on a Xerox machine, and then I just reformat, with all the little graphics and things. It's just a huge collection, and so I don't want to redraw every pattern piece again. And so they will be the exact same pieces, but they will be reduced in size. So just remember that when you're taking into account the seam allowance, as it reduces will also reduce. So you might want to cut on, like, say, a 4th scale, cut a little bit outside the edges of your pattern pieces to give a little extra for a full 1/4 inch seam allowance, because it might, cut that down. Then I had a couple requests, and I totally understand. And it kind of occurred to me with these requests, along with my taller fellas, and so we'll switch out the photos here. With these fellas, I have all 7 of them in the large 1/3 scale, 66 centimeter, but I also have the full set of the Mattel BTS guys, which are the 11-inch guys. So they're the smaller 1/6 scale. So because this collection is for these particular fellas, I will reduce the pattern to a 1/6 scale. But here's my disclaimer for that size. Many of these pieces are very detailed, because it's easier to sew more detail when you have a larger scale. So just realize, going down from a 3rd scale to a 6th scale, you're reducing your sewing area enormously. That's a huge reduction in size. So a lot of the detailing will either be lost, or you may have to switch out other items. So instead of having, like, the placards on Jimin's coat that are like 2 pieces that are sewn together so that all edges are finished, you might need to find a ribbon that you can cut a point at the end and put some fray check on the ends and sew it in to have that little placard, with a point on the end. So you may have to substitute some of those details in order to get the same look on that small of a scale. Because if you try to do the same thing that small, you're going to have too much seam allowance bulkiness to make it look right. So the other thing is, we'll get into this, most of the coats I want to do in a faux leather, and the option would be, instead of having two pieces that you folded or sewn together to get a finished edge, you might have to settle for an unfinished edge, and then you can go along that edge very carefully with like a Sharpie marker to eliminate the white that would show up. For instance, if you used red, then you're going to have a little bit of this white edge that would show. So you could go along that edge with a red Sharpie marker, let it sit for a few days so that it's not transferable, make sure it's totally dry and permanent, and then use that. But don't finish the edges because it'd be too thick. So please take that into account if you want to sew for the smaller dolls. You'll find that that's why in a lot of, like for instance, Barbie clothing, some that's incredibly detailed with a lot of finished work like that is extremely thin fabrics, because when you have all these turned finished edges, every layer of fabric adds bulk to a garment. And so when they're that tiny, those layers of fabric can add up thickness very, very quickly. We talked about that a little bit when we also sewed for the Rainbow High dolls, and I do have that video on the channel if you want to check that out. So just a disclaimer, a forewarning to, per se, that if you're going to sew in a very small scale, be aware of those changes that you'll have to take into account. But I will do some math and reduce this pattern to that scale for those of you who want the collection for that particular set of dolls. Well, or any 1/6 doll, but especially since it's for the BTS guys, and we'll do that. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the fabrics that I have, and I'm really excited. So along with the designs, I was thinking about fabrics. So, and here, let's see, I'll try to do like one at a time, putting the picture of the coat, and then we'll talk about the outfit a little bit. So the first one we'll look at is for J-Hope, and so his will start with the oversized baseball jacket. It's not quite a bomber jacket because the shoulders come from the collar into the sleeve. It does not have a sleeve seam at the shoulder. The sleeve goes all the way up to the neck, sort of like a baseball t-shirt. So that coat will be in red and white. I have faux leather in red, and then I do have some white over on the table and I forgot to grab it. Oh, so I have red and white faux leather that will be the jacket, and then for the collar, waistband, and cuffs, I want to have a red and white stripe. So I have two options. I'm going to have to experiment. I found a knit, but the sleeve or the striping is very wide. So this would have to end up being folded with, like if the sleeve is white, then it would be folded so that this would be sewn, and it would just end up being a two-color band. If I wanted the complete stripes, I also found ribbon, but this won't stretch. So the difference is the knit I can stretch to fit, like you would an edging, but if I use the ribbon, I'm going to have to gather the pieces to fit the measurements. So I'm leaning towards the knit because that's how the coat is designed. But so I have red and white faux leather for the coat. Then I have the cuffs here. Then for the pants, I have a white on white print, which probably won't show up in the camera, but it is, it's not just a plain white. There's actually like a white embossed. And then I also still have a little bit of the sparkly white that I'm not sure who will get pants out of these. So there'll be white pants, and then the red for his coat, or for his shirt, will be a white print on red that will be his shirt. So that's going to be for J-Hope. And all the fellas will have, well, I'll get there, I guess. Most of them will probably have white pants. There will be a couple exceptions. There we go. We'll say it that way. So that's J-Hope's outfit. So his is red and white. So we'll move this red and white out of the way. Don't worry, my iron is not plugged in. It is not hot. Just in case anyone was like, ah! So don't worry. Okay, so let's see if I can get these out of the way. And hopefully they will not slide off onto the floor. Okay, the next in the pile, because we're going in the order of the spectrum. I love the rainbow. I love the spectrum. I always have. Usually my preference is the bright colors against black, but it's summertime, so it's going to be white. So, moving on, we have Shuga's next, and these also, I should say, these also are going to sort of be tied to their microphone colors, because they all have colored microphones. Now, Shuga's microphone, I believe, is usually black, but because it's the color that nobody else had, he's going to be the one in orange. So we have orange that is a faux leather, but I believe he is going to have the faux leather orange pants. But his coat, instead of just being solid orange, his coat will be this. It does have yellow in it, but it has a lot of orange and some reds. So this will be his long shirt, and then to tie in his microphone, he will have a black t-shirt. So his will be orange with a lot of red and yellow and black in his. But I thought this, I like the colors, but to me it didn't look like a holiday or a sports team by including this print. So that's what I wanted to avoid. So the long shirt will be, it's like a shirt coat, will be this fabric, then the orange faux leather pants and a black t-shirt. So that will be Shuga. Okay. Then our next color of the spectrum, so we have red, orange, yellow, will be Jimin. And so his coat will be a faux leather yellow, which is this bright, nice kind of a lemony yellow. I had another yellow, but it's more of a golden yellow that, like the inside of a daisy kind of, not quite school bus yellow, but more of a golden yellow. But I just like the lemon yellow better. It seemed to be just as bright, but not quite as pungent of a color, I guess. I don't know if that's the word I want. But I am debating on possibly actually just going with actual metallic gold, because his microphone is gold. So I'm still debating. I don't know. Maybe in the comments you can say what you think would be best when you see what else we have for him. So he will have a print pant that is like flowers, and so because there is some black in here, I'm still debating. He may have a black t-shirt as well to tie in the black, but this will be his pants and then his coat. So that's why I'm thinking maybe the yellow would be better than the gold, because it might, the gold metallic might kind of clash, where the yellow would look good. But sometimes it's nice to have something that's like within the idea but a different tone. So you can let me know in the comments what you think, whether we should go with the bright yellow or just stick with, or go with the gold or stick with the yellow. So that will be Jimin, probably a black t-shirt as well. Okay, then we come to Taeyang. His is green. So his coat is more like a blazer style, but it's long. And so I'm still debating. Here again, you can help me. I have like Kermit the Frog green color, or I have a darker green. I'm leaning towards the darker green. I just think it has more of a sophisticated look. I mean, this is brighter for summer, but I think I like the darker green better. So his coat will also be the faux leather, and then he will have the long sleeve button-up shirt out of this fabric, and there is white in the fabric, and then he will have white pants. So that will be his outfit. But this green could also look good. So it could be either green. The shirt would look good with either color, so you can let me know what you think. So that will be Taeyang or V's outfit. So that was green. That was the next color we had. Okay, and then white pants. And he has in the hanbok set, we'll put that up here, he has white on white print pants, so I may go ahead and give him the sparkly white pants if there's enough for a pair of pants. Yes, since he already has some white on white pants, so I may use the silver sparkle for his white pants. So there we go. So that takes care of V. Okay, then we move to blue, which will be RM or Namjoon. So his coat will be this bright blue, and it's like a kind of like a royal blue. So this will be his coat. It's a long straight cut coat. Then he will have white pants, and then he will have a blue print top, which will be like a t-shirt type top. That will be the one I talked about, that will go on from the front but be like a full open back that will snap closed, just because it's going to be cotton. You can't really pull it over their heads, but he'll probably have the looser t-shirt for his shirt, and it will be this fabric with the bright blue and then white pants. So that will be RM or Namjoon's outfit. So that's the blue one. Okay, then we come to purple, which is Jungkook. So Jungkook will have the purple coat. So we have purple faux leather to be his coat, and his coat is a fitted, more pop music style coat. He will have the tank top, and then he will probably have purple print pants, because he will have either a white tank top or a black, probably a white tank top, because I already have two black tops earlier on. So he'll probably have a white tank top and then the purple pants and a purple coat. So that's Jungkook. Alright, so there we go. And last but not least is pink. In the spectrum, I did take out indigo and switch it for pink just because of their microphone colors. We did make the little bit of an exception with the orange and black, but in their microphones, Jin has a pink microphone, so he will have pink. So we have a really nice, it's a deeper powder pink, and by powder I just mean it's not like as bright, it's like a softer but still a deeper color pink. So that will be his coat, and it's kind of a camp style coat, with a little bit of a gathering at the waistline, and then big pockets, and then he will have white pants, and then he will have a print shirt that will also include some of the orange and yellow in it, and then the pink. So what I'm hoping for is with all of these colors, so we have the pink, will come back here, and then we'll just hold up the fabrics. So what I'm hoping for is with the colored, the brightly colored spectrum faux leathers, and then the prints that do kind of all host some of the oranges and yellows in almost all of the pieces. So here's my red. So I have red, orange, yellow, green. Then we have the blue and the purple that don't really have them, but then the pink will also kind of tie back to some of these oranges and yellows. I'm hoping that as a collection with white pants, a couple black items, that it will still look cohesive, and I may even mix a couple of the fabrics together. For instance, on a couple pieces might have like pieces from someone else's garment as like a pocket or a cuff or a collar or something like that, to kind of add a little bit of cohesiveness to the entire ensemble. So that is the vision for what we're going to try to do. Oh, and yes, our knit here for the jacket, the baseball jacket. So that is what we're putting together. I hope it will be a fun project that you'll enjoy. I will probably have to take time for each one since each coat is completely different. And yeah, so that's where we are. I do have the entire set drafted. So in this handy dandy Ziploc bag are all the pieces, but most of them are just tissue paper. A few are like copy paper, but they're all here, they're ready. Now I just have to transpose these on to 8.5 by 11 size paper, which in the US is our letter size. It's 8.5 by 11 inches. If you use A4 paper, I believe that paper is a little bit taller and a little bit more narrow. I will try to stay away from going the full width of the 8.5 inches, and that way it should fit pretty much on A4 paper. You'll just have a little extra length at the top. If on your printer you choose print at actual size or print at 100%. You may lose a few edges, but I'll try to center things so there's enough space on the edges of my paper that will allot for the fact that that A4 paper is more narrow. Hopefully that will help. So I just have to transpose all these onto those sheets. I don't know if I'll include that in a video. I have lots of videos showing drawing out patterns. But once those are all done and ready, then I will start getting things cut out, and then we can go ahead and start putting them together. So welcome to the new series. I am so glad that you're here, and I hope this will be a fun project for you. If you're new to the channel, I leave links in the description to my blog/website. The link will open to the blog, and you can scroll down through the posts and find links to different patterns, or you can go to the menu at the top of the site. I'll put a little shot of what it looks like.